mean, it's just hard to imagine a situation where Janice wouldn't go into public service. She was born into public service, and she's lived it, she breathed it every day of her life, and so her being in public service seems to be just a part of her.
I believe Janice went into public service because, first and foremost, of who her dad was, and just being around it, and probably seeing the love, right, that the community had for her dad.
I think she learned a lot from her father, and she wanted to make a difference, and she has made a difference.
They believe in a very strong way that all people have dignity, that all people, regardless of race or language, and it's very natural to Janice. It's not something that she has to check the box, oh, I said this, or I did this, or I did that. It just naturally comes to her.
And Supervisor Hahn, she's incredible in her passion for her constituents and in her dedication and drive and commitment to make things happen.
She has a sense of service to humanity. Well, I think she, as supervisor, she fights for the vulnerable people of the county, the poor, the youth, the seniors, the handicapped, and others who have, very few selfless champions as guardian angels, of which she is.
Janice Hahn continues to fight for workers, whether they're an electrician or a housekeeper or a firefighter. She is always there for everyone.
She fights for everyone.
I think Supervisor Hahn fights for those who don't have a voice, and that's really what we're all here for. The way I met Supervisor Hahn was a very fortuitous one. As a stroke neurologist and interventional neurologist, my passion is to give quality of care and quality of life to stroke patients. The idea came up of this mobile stroke initiative, and this mobile stroke initiative is such a unique one. It's really bringing delivery of care to the patient, bringing the hospital to the patient. Because stroke is such a time-sensitive emergency, we wanted to help patients in the time they needed it most. At the same time, we found a press release by Supervisor Hahn in which she described her passion for stroke care and innovation in paramedicine and in the pre-hospital setting. We reached out to Supervisor Hahn, and the dream came from there. And she led this innovative approach in our county and really laid the grounds for us to be fruitful and successful in LA County. I recall a patient very distinctly, a 40-year-old black woman who was at the dentist's office. And while paying for her dental work, all of a sudden she became numb and had a facial droop. And initially, the dental office thought it was related to the Novocaine that she received to numb her gums. But they called 911, and when we arrived on scene, the medics also had the same impression. Perhaps that this is just related to the medical treatment she got. But having expert stroke and experts in the field, we were able to immediately notice that not only did she have a facial droop, but she had eyelid weakness, and by the time she was in the unit, she had lost use of her leg completely. And because of our swift thinking and because of taking her into the unit, we were able to give her clot-busting medication. Because of that, she walked out of the hospital.
I met Janice when she was on the Los Angeles City Council, and I was head of the Los Angeles Local 11 of Hotel and Restaurant Workers Union. We eventually started working on a policy to raise the wages of hotel workers all along the corridor leading into the airport. During one of the phases of the campaign, 15 workers were fired, just like that, overnight, because they were wearing a button asking for higher wages. So she asked us, she says, let me go down there and talk to the management. And these security guards stop us and say, you can't go in. And she goes, well, I just want to talk to the general manager. We feel like, this is something that's really important. And they said, no, you can't, and grabbed her by the arm and physically and forcefully to push her away and off the premises. And of course, she was even more upset after that, which she had every right to be. But I think the worst part is they then accused her of manhandling the guards and being physical with the guards when it was exactly the opposite. And of course, it did nothing but make her stronger, and she became an even stronger advocate for working people.
So one of the things that Janice achieved for especially the LGBT community was the raising of the flag in all the county buildings in Downey. In 2020, when I was first elected, the council voted to fly the pride flag in front of Downey City Hall every June. And we did that for 3 years. And then this year, 2024, my council colleagues saw it to pass a so-called neutral flag policy, which really wasn't neutral because at the same time, they made an exception for the POW flag, which is understandable, right? But because of their act, we were unable to fly the flag in Downey. And Janice called and she said, don't worry about Mario, we have 8 buildings in the county. So where our flag was to fly in 1 building, Janice came through and now it flew in 8 buildings. And it wasn't just a simple flag raising ceremony. We had hundreds of people from throughout the county show up and support this great act by our supervisor. So I'm forever thankful. And she is one of our strongest allies, hands down. So she's like our fairy godmother. Janice Hahn is our madrina, as I like to call her.
I like to thank Supervisor Hahn for the many things she has done for our underprivileged students in South Whittier. She made it possible for the community to have a skate park, which my grandson uses a lot. They need that because we don't have much at South Whittier. And that is something that everybody's enjoying, and to me, it was something our students needed. Also, the pool in Pioneer. We had to go to Santa Fe Springs to use their pool, and now we have our own at South Whittier. We have the Pioneer, which is one of the, I think it's the highlight for last year that we have our own.
Yeah, well, Bruce's Beach was a pristine piece of property in Manhattan Beach, California. In 1912, Charles and Willa Bruce bought the property because on the entire west coast of the United States, there was nowhere where people of color, especially African Americans, could get into the water and enjoy the beach and the ocean in all of God's land. In 1921, the Ku Klux Klan saw the popularity of the property and decided to pressure the local officials and the police department to do something about the influx of African Americans to the area. And eventually, the city council waged a campaign to take the property back under the guise of eminent domain because they wanted to put a park there. In 1929, the property was finally taken from Charles and Willa Bruce after a bitter court fight. And they moved to South Los Angeles destitute after being very prominent and very well-to-do people. Our archangel, Supervisor Hahn, heard about the story, did some research, and found out the validity of our fight, and decided to call us in, me and Anthony Bruce, one of the sons, and have a discussion with us regarding how we could possibly get the property back. She got Senator Steve Bradford to take up the bill that was needed in order to change some of the covenants and issues that were preventing the transfer of the property. And she very graciously guided us through the process, which was really arduous at some times. Yes, we got the land back after Governor Gavin Newsom signed the bill to allow the transfer of the property.
When I think of Janice Hahn, and you ask me to put forth a couple of words: unapologetic, brave, strong, committed,
Feisty, and yet fun.
Selfless, kind.
First of all, she's extremely funny, approachable, real.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you for your for naturally believing in working people, for treating them with so much respect, for being a fighter side by side with them.
Thanks to her vision, she made me believe that anything is possible.
We wanted to thank Supervisor Janice Hahn for building this skate park, not only for us, but for the community as well, and we wish her good luck for 4 more years.
Thank you, Supervisor Hahn, for giving us a fighting chance.
Thank you, Miss Janice, for helping our neighborhood. God bless you.
Congratulations, Supervisor Hahn, for 4 more years!
So thank you for picking up the phone. Thank you for heeding to those requests. I so appreciate your time and your sacrifice, especially for the amount of time and services you've given to Downey. Thank you. 4 more years, Janice. Thank you so much for signing up for 4 more years of working with us in Downey and Sella. You always fight for us, and I know you always do your best.
Janice, I would love to continue to be your friend for the rest of our lives.
It's never been anyone like her. She's with us all the time. When she's present, we can feel her love for us.
As the elders have said about you and I, that we are of the same spirit, that we love humanity and we like fighting for it. I love you, my sister.